Noon, a man will spend decades in prison after pleading guilty to second-degree murder. Tyshaun Jenkins took a plea deal in New Hanover County Court today, sentenced to at least 25 years in prison. He was charged with the murder of Tyshaun Delts in Wilmington back in April of 2022. Cameron Gerald facing first-degree murder charges in Delts' death. WECT's Ava Brengord is at the courthouse. She'll have an update tonight on WECT News at 5 o'clock.